Hi, team. Tonight I want to talk about our defensive philosophy and what we want to do as far as getting back down the court and protecting our rim, not only in transition but also in the half court defense. So, as I was saying, defense always starts at the offensive end of the court. So, let's say we're shooting at this basket down here. So, we're playing our offense on this one, okay? So the opposing team, they might be in a 2-3, they might be playing man-to-man, doesn't really matter. Point is, when our shot goes up, we crash the boards, right? So you want to come in here, follow your shot. We're looking for the offensive rebound and the putback. Now remember, on that offensive rebound, if you get it, don't bounce it, just straight back up with strength. We're just looking to get that easy basket, possible foul, and capitalize that way, okay? Now let's say that the other team gets a defensive rebound, which puts them on offense and us on defense. So as I've said before, our one guard, whenever the shot goes up from wherever it is, they're going to immediately fall back. This is to start the transition defense. We need one person back to guard the rim, okay? So shot goes up, we're crashing the boards. Our one guard's going back. You're backpedaling here, we're running backwards, watching the ball. If we get the offensive rebound, obviously we're going back up with it. If we get stuck, we're going to kick it back out. So you're going to need to return down here and get back into the offense. However, the other team gets the rebound. So now we're on defense. Point guard comes down, you're first one back, so you have a rim, right? That's transition defense. I got rim. Second one back is going to get high. I got high, that's up by the free throw line. Third one back, you're making a triangle. Protecting the paint against fast break points, okay? Now, I'm going to show you guys something in practice that we're going to implement, and that is a double team on the defensive rebound for the other team. They pull their rebound down here. We're just going to double team them here, and it's going to lead to less fast break points, possible turnovers, all kinds of good stuff's going to come from that. Okay, we're going to get further into that, but right now I just want to show you that basic idea of these three back forming a triangle in the paint to protect any kind of easy transition layups, okay? Now once we do get back into the defense, so we play a Packline defense, okay? So you guys have all played this. We know what it looks like. It basically looks like a 1-2-2 zone, but it's not a zone. Okay, that's the thing we have to remember. This is not a zone. It's a very active defense. It's a man-to-man kind of hybrid defense. So it's a man-to-man with zone principles or a zone defense with man-to-man principles. Now, the idea behind a pack line is you have a very specific part of the floor that you're protecting, and that's about 1 to 2 steps inside the three-point line, okay? So if you're not guarding the ball, you need to be back behind this imaginary line, okay? So I don't want this player any further out than that, or this one any further out than that if they're not guarding the ball. This ball handler right here is going to have full pressure, full ball pressure defense. So this guy here is outside of that pack line. He's guarding. On a pass, so if there's another player over here, so this player would be in the gap, right? You're about halfway between the two offensive players, and you're back off the line, okay? The reason you're in that area, as I've said before, let's go and erase that pack line now that you've seen it. The reason we're in this area, he's playing ball pressure defense. If this guy drives to the rim, if he gets around this top line player, if he goes this way, this guy's going to have to step in and play defense. If he goes this way, this guy has to step in and play defense. We also have these two back here and help. Just in case he gets full penetration into the paint, we can close over and stop him from getting the easy basket. Okay? Now, you're in the gap. There's a guard over here on the wing. As soon as the ball leaves his hands on that pass, that's your cue to close out. Close out on him. Now you're guarding this guy as he catches the ball. And as soon as that happens, this man here is falling back to take his place. Okay? So now, you're the ball defender. You're the gap defender. You just came from here. You're the gap defender. You know, we're going to have some defense down here, okay? So as you can see, what we've done here is we've kind of shifted over, okay? There's an imaginary line halfway down the rim. You can go all the way down the floor with it. That's what's called the help line. So if the ball's over here and you're playing defense on this side of the court, you need to be on that help line. So you're ready to lend assistance, right? So this guy's got the ball. This is a gap. This is a gap. This is help. This is help. So if he drives this way, that's going to pick it up. Drives this way, this one's going to pick him up. And you have backup behind you. Okay? Hopefully that makes a little sense. The ball comes down here in the corner. Here's where sometimes we get a little bit confused. Now, it depends a lot on the size of the team we're playing. If they have a lot of bigs, we probably don't want our post defender coming off the block. It's going to leave a big opening there. Now, if we're playing kind of a bigger lineup, sure, they can close out. Remember, when they close out, leaves the post open. That's when we have to be aware that this guard here is going to have to shift down and cover that post. And this guy's going to be right here, okay? So it's just against one offensive player against 5, so it's just kind of showing you the flow of what's going on. Now, the way most basketball teams play is they have 5 players on the court, obviously. Let's take the last game we played, for example. They had 2 post players, 3 guards, 2 on the wings, a point. As we play our Packline defense, I think we did a good job. We got out here, we gave that ball pressure defense, and we had the posts in here. We were holding our ground pretty well. Okay, so now as the pass moves to this man, defender 3 closes out. You're on ball side defense. Defender 1 comes back to that spot right there. Okay, so you've got the gap. Now this guy might cut in here, so you're going to have to watch him, make sure he doesn't get the lob over. He's probably going to cut back out. This guy's going to fall down here. Okay, so I mean that's generally how a lot of your motion offenses work. Is it's a pass, it's a cut, it's a fill, just like we do it. So just be aware of that. Let's send this guy down here to this corner. Ball passes up to the corner. Okay. Under typical situations, you're going to close out here from the post, unless I tell you otherwise. This guard here takes the post over to lend help on the back side of him. This one here is going to kind of fall back into this area to protect that gap. Okay, so ball's up here. I have a defender here in the gap. I have a defender here, which is kind of in the gap, kind of help. And remember, if you're over here on this side, you're going to be on the help line, ready to lend assistance, just in the paint. Now remember here, this post player, you have to make sure you're watching behind you. So really in this situation, you want your butt to the baseline so you can see the whole court, see what's coming. Because if he makes this lob pass over somehow, you're going to have to be ready for that. So just remember, it's constantly shifting. As the ball's passed, a new defender comes out to defend the ball. All right? As it's passed down again, a new defender comes out, and we always have to shift. You want to be watching home right here. If you ever get confused, there should always be someone in one of these areas, and then someone guarding the ball. It's the most important things. Now let's talk a little bit about strengths and weaknesses of the pack line. Strength of the pack line is you have a lot of defense in the paint. So you can stop penetration and easy baskets because we're guarding these areas right here, which are some of the more common shots that you're seeing. And then you have a guy that's chasing around the ball handler until they pass it, then the defender changes. Now, some of the weaknesses of the pack line. Allowing straight line drives into the paint, okay? As this defender in the front, it is your job to never let anyone get a straight line drive straight to the rim because it's just too hard. It's just too hard to defend. Once they get past you straight, let's say you kick out here and they go straight down the line, this guy has to react, they all have to react, and it's a breakdown. Because what are they doing with the other defenders? If they have to defend your guy, they're leaving their guy open. Okay, and so that's a simple dish. It's a simple score. So number one, here, don't allow straight line drives to the rim. Number two, don't allow baseline drives. It's a weak spot in the pack line. We can overcome it. We just don't want it to happen. Some pack lines actually force baseline. We don't like to do that. I think it's just, you're too weak back there, right? Especially, so this guy here makes a drive to the baseline. I've got my post player out there defending him. My gap player's here. And I have a guy that's going to be back here on the post, and then I have this help side. But I mean, if he gets past this first line defender, and the second line defender doesn't react in time, I mean, that's an easy basket. So, don't let them drive up the middle. Don't let them drive the baseline. Don't. No, no. Okay? If they're going to get the ball in the paint, you want them to come into the strongest parts that we have. And that's here and here. So, if they're going to attack the rim, make them do it that way. If you're going to give up, not give up, don't give up any drives. If they're going to get a drive, they need to be funneled this way or this way, because that's where our biggest amount of defense is. If they're coming from this side, I have defenders in help. I have these two defenders. If they are coming from this side, I have defenders in help, and I have defenders in these two positions. So just some of the thoughts behind the Packline defense and ways to play it, okay? For my post players, imagine there's an imaginary box right here, okay? So from about the second block here down to the low block, just imagine that's there's an imaginary line on the court. Your job is to keep that other post player out of there and never let them get the ball in there, okay? So a lot of times, they'll post a player up right there on that low block. Your job as the defender is to stay between them and the rim and don't let them get any closer than about right here, okay? If they start to get a little closer, use your body to move them. You don't want to push your arm out, but you can use your legs to kind of push against them and make them uncomfortable where they want to move out of that post spot. If their post player gets the ball in the post, which is that area right there, we always want to double team. So let's bring the other post player over, double team, on the rim side, make them kick it back out, okay? Now, remember, whenever we double team somebody, just like I always say, when they double team us, we have somebody open. When we double team, they have someone open. So it's imperative, very important, that the rest of the team focuses on what's going on around them and notices any open players, okay? So if you see the post doubling down here, really suck it in and make sure it's going to be hard for that other team to get a pass here in the paint. Don't let them dump it off in the paint and get somebody cutting through here with an easy layup, okay? You always want to have your team's back, okay? So, to kind of summarize, these are our strong spots, our home spots. You always want to switch defenders on the pass. That's when the pass leaves the hands, okay? On the closeout hands high. So if the pass comes over here, I'm closing out hands high, and I'm not letting them get that quick shot off. I'm closing out fast and strong, and this is a dead sprint back to that gap spot too, okay? Everything has to be a sprint. Everything has to be fast. You have to cover those gaps and cover those empty spots that we're leaving super quickly. You gotta close out fast. You gotta fill the gaps fast. Never allow straight line drives. Never allow baseline. Always funnel them into these areas. So not here, not here, not here. Funnel them into the strongest parts of our defense. When guarding the post, always guard rim side, so they're not going to get an easy turnaround, an easy turnaround jumper right there. So we're guarding rim side. If they do get it in the paint, we are double teaming the post, making them kick it back out. I think that covers the Packline defense, and I think for the next video, we're going to just kind of go over the basic offense that we use and why we do the things